She is a graduate of the FBI and DEA Citizens Academy, of course, the University of the Incarnate Word, where she received her bachelor's in communication arts, and then a master's and doctorate degree in Christian counseling from the Royal Priesthood Academy. And she's also a professional clinical member of the National Christian Counselors Association. Dr. Keely has received numerous awards for her transformative volunteer and community work from the San Antonio Business Journal Women's Leadership Award and the Unsung Hero Spirit of Giving Award, San Antonio Women's Chamber of Commerce. Honors from Texas Governor Greg Abbott for her community impact, and has been appointed commissioner on the San Antonio Mayor's Commission on the Status of Women. She's also received numerous other awards and appointments. In her own words, as a confidence coach, counselor, and consultant, my work is God-centered around the belief that each and every person is born with a unique purpose. My mission and passion is to chaperone you into unique purpose for which you were born. She lives by a quote as her life mantra from Mother Teresa that says, "If we have no peace, it is because we have forgotten we belong to one another." Now, before I bring her on, I would like to go over some housekeeping rules here. We would like you to stop your video right now, and we would like everybody to be muted so we can give our full attention to Dr. Keely. And at the end of the presentation, we will have plenty of opportunity for questions. Some of y'all have submitted your questions ahead of time, and you can use the chat to submit other questions as the presentation goes on. And at the end of Dr. Keely's presentation, we are going to bring everybody up on screen. So when she's done, everybody come back on and we will have her answer those questions. Thank you all again. And Dr. Keely, it's all yours.
Hello, everybody. Thank you so much for signing up to be a listener to what I believe is a most important conversation, mastering your emotional health. What we're going to talk about today are 4 areas, and I'm going to have to give it to you in what I call the drive-by mode, because normally when I am teaching this information, it is a longer period of time, but no worries. I believe the drive-by will be effective and you will still gain understanding and knowledge. We are going to look at 4 components that I call attributes, and attributes deal with character. We're going to look at self-awareness, self-management, social awareness, and relationship awareness, which you may not know this or believe it or have ever heard, but your emotional life, your emotional condition affects all of your life. It affects every single thing you do every single day. So what is emotional health? You have heard this, you've heard emotional intelligence in the workplace. You may have not heard about it, but it is a necessary conversation because it is the emotional life at work and at home that determines the level of joy and happiness that you live out of. So what is emotional health? We want to start there for understanding. And emotional health is the ability, your ability to identify, to use, and understand. Those are 3 key words: to identify, to use and understand, and then manage your emotions in a positive way, to relieve stress, to communicate effectively, to even empathize with others, to overcome challenges, to diffuse conflict. Emotional health impacts our lives in many different aspects. such as the way that you behave and the way you interact with others. You may be that person that says, I just can't get along with anybody. Nobody likes me. I don't know how to fit in. And you do, and you can. Don't know if you know this, but every single day, all human beings deal with about 72 emotions a day. That was theory by psychological theorists Peter Salvary and John Mayer. I was shocked when I heard that we go through 72 emotions a day. I'm thinking, oh my God, that's a lot, but it has been documented and proven that that is so. So why is emotional health important? It is important because it can have an effect on your ability to create a more rewarding, collaborative, and satisfying relationship and life. This in turn leads to greater productivity. Again, it is having healthy emotions is a stress reducer. You don't need the alcohol and the antidepressants unless you've been diagnosed at a higher level, but really it helps with stress, and all of us have stress. It deals with issues of anxiety, higher levels of performance. You are able to perform professionally at a higher level when you take care of your emotional health. I like Robert Plutchik's Wheel of Emotions. If you take a look at this, and you can go and Google this, but his mindset says there are 8 emotions, and these are those right here in the middle, the 8 emotions that we deal with: anger, fear, sadness, disgust, surprise, anticipation, trust, and joy. All other emotions generate from these 8 emotions. And just a side note, the number 8 represents regeneration. So you actually get to regenerate, re-energize your life by managing and taking care of what we know is our emotional health. So again, we mentioned we're going to talk about very quickly, because I do want to be able to answer your questions, self-awareness, self-management. Take note, we always start with us first. I have to start with being aware of what I'm thinking, what I'm feeling, how I'm flowing in life. Then there's self-management. Then there is the next layer of social awareness, because if you don't do you first, you won't be able to do the social component, and definitely not the last tier here, which is relationship management. Emotional health, again, consists of these 4 competencies. And I like this graph here because when you look at it, it boils down to personal competence, social competence. What I see, what I do. What I see falls under the realm of you having social self-awareness and social awareness. What you do, how you manage those emotions, how you manage relationships. And this information is derived from Talent Smart, which I love them. So when we look at self-awareness, what are we talking about? What are we talking about? We are talking about you focusing more on you individually than your interactions with other people. Self-awareness, as we see here, you recognize your own emotions and how they affect your thoughts and your behavior. Know your strengths, know your weaknesses, and begin to build that self-confidence. The self-management level talks to us about being able to control impulses and behaviors and manage your emotions in healthy ways. you get to be the captain of your own ship when it comes to emotion. You get to take initiative. You get to follow through on commitment and adapt to changing circumstances. You get to do all of this yourself, and you can do it. You may need a life coach. You may need a confidence coach. You may need a consultant. You may need somebody like me to help navigate you through these shores. Then I had a video, I'm not sure if it's coming up, but we want to keep moving for the sake of time. But self-awareness is one of the most important skills. Write that down, tweet it, do something with it. It is one of the most important skills for success. How you behave and respond to external situations is governed by an internal mental process, the mental process of handling your emotion. Now watch this. Self-awareness uncovers destructive thought patterns, unhealthy habits that lead to better decision-making and behavioral responses. Expand your emotional vocabulary. I like what the philosopher Wittgenstein said. He said, the limits of my language means the limits of my world. The limits of my language, the limits of me being able to articulate to myself and to other people that I deal with, refine and define my world. When we look at self-awareness, sometimes you have to practice saying no to yourself. No, I'm not going to think that. No, I'm not going to feel that. No, I'm not going to act that way. No, I'm not going to have a revengeful spirit and motive. No, I'm not going to do that. A person who learns to say no to themselves, to put off short-term gratification. You know, you might be like, I need to tell her off. I need to cuss him out real good. That'll fix it. No, you need to put off the short-term gratification for long-term gain is an important life skill when it comes to your emotional life. We want you to break visceral reactions. A person without self-awareness runs on autopilot. And we have seen in the news people that go back to their jobs and shoot up and kill up people that they worked with, that they had lunch with, that they shared 8 hours a day or more with. We've seen this activity of people who don't deal with their own self-awareness internally. And the term that we have come to know culturally is a term that is called going postal. They come back, they've gotten fired for whatever reason. They didn't handle it emotionally. So they went back, ran on autopilot and shot up everybody. Self-awareness allows you to assess situations objectively and rationally without acting on biases and stereotypes. I appreciate that. There's a lot to talk about in the self-awareness realm because this is the first tentacle that we deal with when we are helping to build a healthy emotional life. You got to remember, you are accountable for your flaws. Nobody is perfect. Being aware of your flaws, but failing to accept accountability is leaving the job half done. When I am aware of my self-awareness life, I begin to monitor the things that I even speak about myself. I begin to become my own commentator. And is that good or is it bad? A little bit of negative self-talk can spiral into stress. Oh, I'm a failure. Oh, I never win anything. Why do I keep meeting the same type of man who's abusive? And why do I keep being betrayed by girlfriends? You've got to pay attention to the way you respond to your successes and to your failures. You got to know your personality and your temperament. There are all sorts of personality and temperament tests that you can go and take for free on Google to help you define, am I an empath? Am I caloric? Am I this or am I that? I don't want to spend time. I do talk about that when we spread this training out, but know your personality type and temperament allows you to maximize your strength and manage your weaknesses, because that's what we're really talking about. Managing what's weak and strengthening what needs to be strengthened. Too many times we focus on what we don't do well. I believe we need to teach people, teach our children, teach our teens to focus on what you do well, because life is as such. You've got good things you do and you've got bad things you do, but understanding your strengths and talents can be the difference between a good choice and a great choice. And then you must practice self-evaluation and reflection. This is what I say is good time to do a social media detox, to do a detox of always being tuned in to the world. Keep a journal, track your progress and how you would rate your current level of awareness. And I even call it awakening. I call it aha moments. You don't get those until you begin to practice self-evaluation, meditation, and reflection. Self-awareness, you must ask for constructive feedback. Don't be afraid to ask people, hey, how did I do that? I'm good for that. I learned what I'm sharing with you long time ago, and it really, really works. I just mentioned meditation. I want to go on now to self-management, because you must be accountable for yourself. Install an advisory board or an executive team to help you make good strategic decisions. This is personal and professional, and let people give you feedback on your own performance. Make decisions on what is important and then make sure that you do it. Be trustworthy and extend trust to your employees and friends. This means you must have good hiring practices, whether you're hiring a boyfriend, whether you're hiring a new friend coming to your circle. When you are trustworthy and trust your co-workers and your employees and your friends, you get what I call loyalty and strength. And then take time out each day to put in, I have a power hour here, but I would say you can start with a power moment. You know, medically, they say power naps are so powerful. So many organizations are putting within their companies rooms where you can go and take a power nap. You don't need necessarily an hour. It's great if you can get an hour, but a power moment, a power minute, just to pause. That's really what we're talking about. Put a sign on your door and say, hey, don't disturb me. This is your Calgon, take me away moment. Meet with family, friends, client, and staff. Let them know, you know what, I can't talk to you right now. I need to take a power minute for myself. I'll get back with you, but right now I gotta go. So self-management says you recognize when you have outrun your abilities. You have outrun your abilities. You got to know that. You got to open yourself to being transformed. You got to be a servant leader. Consider it your responsibility to serve family, friends, and clients, employees, and just know that when you do that, you're going to make a difference. Pursue hobbies, find something to do so that you're not all wired up all the time, so you're not always on the edge. Many times we're short and snappy because we have forgotten that we can have a hobby. I used to love to, I'm not a dancer, right? But I used to love to just, I always saw myself dancing like Janet Jackson. Okay, I don't have the rhythm like that, but you give me some good music and I promise you, I'm going to dance. That is just one of the hobbies that brings me fulfillment. People may laugh at me, but guess what? I'm thankful that I still have a groove. Is anybody there? Snap, snap with me. And then take a vacation or a sabbatical. It's great if you can do that with someone, but I say when I'm building self-management, sometimes I need to go somewhere alone. Too many of us are skipping vacation time. I'm guilty. I am guilty. Take a vacation, take your hobbies, take what will provide you relaxation. I'm heavy duty on meditation, meditating on whatever is good, good things, whatever things are lovely, and whatever things are of a good report. Right now, we've got so much negativity in the news. Sometimes your mind needs to take a vacation, and then get a life coach. I'm a life coach. Get a certified life coach. I'm a certified life coach who is skilled at helping you understand what best work for you, what your strengths are, how you move yourself, how you practice and are motivated to get to that next level. Wanted to also encourage you to put yourself in somebody else's shoes. Empathy is a powerful tool in helping to understand other people's perspectives. Use imagination, identify your own emotions. You can't understand what other people are feeling until you learn and label your own emotions. Hello, did you hear that? You can. And that's why some of you are frustrated, because you can't understand what other people are feeling until you learn and label your own emotions. Get a journal. Think about your thoughts. Carry a list of emotions with you. Do whatever you got to do to get this part of your life going. I have so much on this that I wanted to share. Even how your facial expressions. This was one I had to work on. The tone of your voice. How your tone can shipwreck people, how you may have really good people in your circle, in your private life, but your tone is a turnoff. Ooh, that's a tweet. Your tone, talking about being socially aware, is a turnoff. Is your tone a turnoff? Just think about it. You may think it's fine because that's how you talk to yourself emotionally, but it may not be when it comes to the people in your family, in your work environment. So just think about that one for a while. Relationship management. I love this because I had to work on this for a long, long time, and I got it. I got it now. I don't say I'm perfect, because as long as we live, we're going to keep learning and growing. But here, when we talk about relationship, it talks to us about allowing you to connect with others in a way that helps them feel understood and supported. Nothing worse than being in a relationship with somebody who don't get you, who don't understand you, and who won't even support you. This is why you have to be your own cheerleader. You have to be your biggest fan, because sometimes you're not going to have people that understand. They may not aspire to the same level that you do. They may like to be at a lower estate than you, and they may call you names and say, oh, you think you're better than somebody because you want to go back to college and you want a better job. You don't want to flip the potatoes no more. You want to be management. And sometimes when we look at the emotional realm of relationship management, we got to identify people who don't understand us and who don't support us. You may be in relationship with friends that you've been friends with them forever, but maybe that relationship is changing because you've grown one direction, and the pain and the sorrow that you once nurtured like a newborn baby, you're not nurturing that anymore. So that can breed misunderstanding. But managing relationships is essential in emotional intelligence and health. It's a skill that enables you to effectively, that's the key word. We want to be effective in leading change, both professionally and personally. I hear y'all clapping out there. So when we look at relationship management, we're looking at inspiration, love inspiring. That is one of my favorite words. Am I inspiring? Am I an influencer? Do I manage conflict properly? I can tell you I failed there for so long because I thought of snapping two circles and cussing somebody out good, screaming, raging, belittling. Oh yeah, I'm a big girl, so I can tell on myself. You know, when you get free from something, you can talk about it. But these relationship management skills includes the ability to manage conflict in a constructive way. Many of you may be failing there, but there's hope. So stay encouraged. Developing another important skill is developing others. Developing others focuses on acknowledging people's accomplishments and strong points and just giving them feedback. Somebody once had to tell me about my makeup because I'm a makeup person, but I look straight up like a clown and I didn't know it. When I got good relationships, they gonna tell you that color, oh no, that cut, oh no, girl, that, oh no, them eyelashes are too long. You need people in your life that will begin to speak to you and you don't get mad at them and cut them off. You know what I mean? Because we do. If they tell you that dress is too tight or that's not the right, don't be mad at them. Look, when your emotions are healthy, you be like, oh, thank you for telling me that. I did not know that. You must begin to initiate change when we look at relationship management. Initiating change is a skill that is used for recognizing when change is needing. Change is vital to growth, both business and professional. People with good relationship manage skills look for ways to overcome barriers that stop change. We have to change. We are evolving from the womb to the grave. We are constantly changing. And here's one that I love. I love teamwork. If I don't have good emotional relationship management skills, I am not going to be able to be a team player. People with this skill emphasize the importance of teamwork. Teams that work well together result in higher performance and productivity. And that is what we want to do. I want to just quickly go through 9 things that emotionally intelligent people won't do. Number 1, you won't let anybody steal your joy. However you get your joy. Having joy that's not leading you to an addiction is important. You don't want to say, oh, I only get joy when I have a drink, or I only get joy when I'm smoking. You don't want to tap into joy by opening yourself up to an addiction. The second thing is people who are emotionally intelligent, they won't forget. We are quick to forgive, but that doesn't mean that they forget. You know, people ask me all the time, I forgave them, but they molested me? I forgave them, but do I have to be around them? Absolutely not. Forgiveness just simply requires letting go of what happened to you so that you can move on. It doesn't mean you'll give a wrongdoer another chance. Thirdly, you won't die in the fight. I believe this Corona season, we are all in a fight, trying to figure out what's going to happen from day to day to day. When we look at this, I won't die in the fight, you know, there's either fight or flight. You're either one or two persons. I used to be a flight person. I'm just leaving. I'm going to move to another city. I'll get another man. I used to just take off because I learned that behavior as a young person, and it stayed with me until I entered into deep counsel, therapy, and emotional help, which now allows me to pay it forward. So in conflict, unchecked emotion makes you dig your heels in and fight the kind of battle that will not leave you damaged. I'm going to fight, but I'm not going to be damaged at the end of it. And then you won't prioritize. Oh my goodness, it's 6 o'clock already, but I'm getting through it. Y'all hang on with me. You won't prioritize perfection. I used to have this thing, and I'm still trying to get over it. Before I go to work, I need to make sure my house is clean. I was just hung up on that. But I figured out why. I fixed it. And it's okay if the dishes are in the sink or I leave the bed unmade. It's okay. It's no reflection on me negatively. Sometimes time and scheduling won't permit us to prioritize perfection. How many of you prioritize perfection? I say, woe be to the person who never thinks about prioritizing perfection. But then again, there's that balance that has to be intact and in place. So emotionally intelligent people won't set perfection as their target, because it does not always exist. By nature, we are fallible. And when perfection is your goal, you will always feel you'll have a nagging sense of failure. And you end up spending your time lamenting on what you failed to accomplish. Oh my God, you can lament all day long. And then fifthly, they won't live in the past. Emotionally intelligent people know that there is a future and a hope waiting for them. Emotionally intelligent people know that success lies in the ability to face whatever happened in the past, whether it was a failure or a success, but you keep moving. You don't stop from believing your ability to succeed. So many people don't know how to walk away from the past, celebrate it, and move on. And that's a skill that has to be learned. Then you don't dwell on your problems. Listen, you'll never, just like we never get rid of dust in our house, right? We dust in and have all kind of stuff to get rid of the dust, but dust is just like number 6 here, where we don't dwell on problems, where you focus your attention on what determines your emotional state. When you fixate on problems you're facing, you create a prolonged negativity. And I know I'm talking to somebody. I just sense that that's somebody on this topic today. Number 7, you won't hang around negative people. How many of you, I tell people, if you're going to complain about what you're permitting, stop it. Don't complain about what you are permitting. That's tweetable for those of you who tweet. Companies are bad news because they wallow in problems and fail to focus on solutions. Whether it's a company, whether it's a business you're going into, you don't want that negativity around you. You can avoid getting drawn in only by setting limits on how much you're going to let people bring negativity into your life. Number 8, you don't hold grudges. You don't hold grudges. You don't hold grudges. You will be sick from holding a grudge. Medical doctors will tell you that if you hold, I said grow, but grudges grow. They grow sicknesses inside of your body. You end up with stomach problems. You end up with headaches. You end up with all kinds of sicknesses. You end up with fatigue. You end up with levels of stress. You end up with high blood pressure and heart disease. Holding on to a grudge means you're holding on to stress. Can I just say that? When you hold on to a grudge, you're holding on to stress, and you won't be able to blame anybody for that but you. Number 9, they won't say yes unless they really mean it. They won't say yes unless they really, really want to. I had to learn that when you grow up with your life shattered by rejection, by trauma, by negativity, you become the yes person because you want to fit in. You want to fit in. You want people to love you because that's what you didn't have. So what happens is research rather has shown us from the University of California in Berkeley that the more difficult that you have saying no, the more likely you are to experience, here we go, here's that stress again, burnout and depression. I say no is a powerful word, and it is a gift from God to you to help you preserve the best you. Did you hear that? That is just what needs to be done right there. I'm gonna back up here a little bit. It seems that a whole section, but that's, you know what, we're gonna be okay with that. We're going to be okay with a couple of my sessions. I didn't get to relationship awareness and social awareness. I don't know why it's not showing, but we're gonna be okay. See, I'm not gonna let that be a problem for me because this is some good stuff, y'all, right? I have a couple of videos that I'm not sure if they're going to play, but that give you an example of some of the things that we talked about. Here we go, social awareness. I don't think we talked about social awareness. And I think social awareness, again, helps us to understand that when we put proper self-awareness in place and proper self-management in place, then you can be that social butterfly that you never ever thought you could be. So what does social awareness mean? Social awareness means putting yourself in somebody else's shoes. It means having a level of empathy, which is vital for relationships. It's vital for genuine communication and problem solving. We are social creatures, and this is why this COVID lockdown has caused people to start to drink more, to drug more, to go into depression and sadness and fear and frustration, because many people have not been happy with themselves prior to the lockdown. So you lock a person who has not been happy prior to that, and you end up with some problems. But because we are social creatures, we are constantly finding ourselves in situations where we could be a little bit more empathetic. That simply means considering these situations. Think about being the person in the grocery store and they're taking forever. All of us have had this. Or like me, I'm like, why didn't you get an item that had a price tag on it, right? Why didn't you get and I have to pause and think, okay, I have to pause and think and be a little bit more empathetic, because that could be me. It could be me the next time. I could want an item so bad and it doesn't have a price tag on it, and I'm now that person that I have an issue with. But because you use sympathy, you may have a little bit empathy, rather, you may have a little bit more patience and understanding. That is what empathy yields to us. We end up with more patience. How many of you need some patience? You just need it. You need a Snickers. You need a Big Red. You need a Coca-Cola. You need something because your patience is being run to the hills. Then the issue of imagination. Here is your friend just found out her parents are getting divorced. Maybe your parents are still married and you have no experience with this, but you can consider how you would feel if you heard that same news. You know, you can express, I'm sorry to hear this. How are you doing? Is there anything I can do for you? Because if you haven't had the issue of divorce in your family, then you don't know what that feels like. But you can be socially aware and help a brother or help a sister out. it also speaks to us about identifying. Social awareness speaks to us about identifying our own emotions. This is not the place you can say, I don't have time for that. You know, there's a commercial that says, I haven't got time for the pain. Well, the pain is there, and you will eventually have to respond to the pain. So identifying your emotions. Listen, knowing where you are emotionally strong and where you are emotionally weak. Those two are so important. You got to know that, because those are the things that are going to affect your work life, your relationship life, your social life. So you can't understand what the other people are feeling until you learn how to label your own emotions. Again, people, this is work. That's why I'm giving you the drive-by version today. When I'm hosting this in a forum session, we dig so deep. And we do activities to help you really understand what I am verbally sharing with you today. It's always easier to figure out what you're feeling, though. Here are some basic ways, just basic ways that you can identify your feelings. Talk to somebody. Find somebody that has an ear to hear what you are saying. And they won't say, oh, there you go, you tripping again. I don't want to talk. No, find somebody that you can share your feelings out loud with, that won't try to correct you when you are trying to share, that will just listen. And when you're done, they're able to give you healthy feedback and help you sort through whatever it is you're going through. Listen, you are never too old to have a journal. I remember as a young girl, I had a diary. It had a key and a lock. And I remember I had an emotional issue because my brother found my diary and busted it open and read and was like, ooh, I'm going to go tell mom. I'm going to go tell. And I'm like, please don't do. I felt violated. Our journals are our sacred spaces where we speak out what we are carrying in our soul. So write down what's going. Sometimes writing it out gets it out, right? Sometimes writing it out gets it out, and it helps you process what you are feeling, and it helps you put a name on what you are feeling. And then we look at the aspect of thinking about your thoughts, thinking about your thoughts. I told you earlier that when you begin to think on whatever things are of a good report, right? Things that are pure. Man, our culture is making it so hard to identify what's pure. And then think about whatever things are lovely, like the ocean breeze, like plants and flowers and mountains. Those are lovely things that God have put in this earth for us to enjoy. There is beauty all around us. You just have to become socially aware of those things. You know, tiptoe through the tulips may be a rewarding social awareness activity that you could do. Taking time, not just to look at the flowers, but how about smelling them? The natural aroma of flowers and fragrances. And just begin to think about those things. And then I say the same way many of us carry a tip card, so that we make sure, because we are emotionally healthy, we tip the waiter. We don't have the attitude, well, when they got this job, they knew what they were getting. I'm not tipping them. I don't tip. Well, you need to carry a list of emotions with you, just like you carry a tip card. If you are new to identifying your emotions, remember earlier we talked about 72 of them that we go through in a day. Then get you an emotional list and carry that list with you so that you can have an identifying marker of how you are feeling for the day. I'm telling you, be an active listener, be focused on the person talking. It's very hard for me when I have to go out and do speaking engagements and people are eating. I'm listening to knives and forks and sucking on fingers and sucking on bones and sipping teas. It can be such a distraction, but guess what? I've learned how to say what needs to be said and get the job done. Reflect back, let the person know how what they are sharing with you makes you feel. People need to know that I have feelings, and when you say and when you do this, this is how I feel. And if they are emotionally healthy, they will work on that. If they're not, then you know that they need to participate in this forum. And then find common ground. And I'm going to stop at this component because it is 6:17 and I want to leave time for questions, but look for people who have common interests. That can be a stepping stone for deeper social awareness activities. Watch your body language. Watch your body language. People's body language, you're talking to somebody and they have their arms folded like this, or they're looking to the left or to the right. They're not paying attention. People communicate with their bodies through gestures, through postures, through head movement. Consider that the same gestures can mean different things. Shrugging of shoulders often means I don't know or I don't care. Or consider what it means when someone, see, I just said it, crosses their arms in front of them. It could mean that they're wanting to pull away from the conversation. This is a self-protective type of gesture. It can mean that really you're angry and you're trying to hold that anger in, or it could be that you're a cold-blooded individual and you just really don't care. So think about your gestures. And then I love this one. It says, imagine you had a mute button and you could turn the sound off. You ever talk to people and you just, oh my God, I wish I had a mute button. Do you think you could figure out the context of the conversation by how people move? That's a fun game that you can play with yourself and with others. Figure out what they're trying to say by how they are moving, just to see if you can figure that out. We talked earlier, the tone of your voice, the tone of your voice, the tone of your voice. I remember I was raising children, and my sons are grown now, they're professional, they're productive, because I believe my husband and I had our emotional life in check, so we could raise emotionally healthy sons who can contribute back to society. But I remember, because I was raised by an angry mother who always screamed, and I started down that path with my sons, and I'll never forget, my youngest son said, Mom, I can hear you. And then I believe it was the still small voice of God that said, if you keep screaming at your sons, they'll never understand the gentleness of a woman's voice. Stop screaming at your kids. It is traumatic when you scream at they go somewhere emotionally they should have never gone, because you are raging. And you're not speaking gently. God created a woman's voice to be gentle and a man's voice to be strong. That's just the way he did that. So at this time, I believe we're going to move forward and let you all ask some questions.
Thank you, Dr. Keely, for that.
Oh, hold on. One more thing.
Okay.
One more thing. I love recommending reading material because I love reading. These are some of the books that I would recommend if you want to start your emotional journey. Travis Bradbury did Emotional Intelligence 2.0. Oh, Chuck Conley, this book is one of my favorites. You might not like math, but when you see what he did with emotional equations, it's so incredible. The Book of Human Emotions. Here's another one that I love, How Emotions Are Made, because we're talking about something that starts in the mother's womb that you come out with. I don't know if y'all know, but sociopaths from research are birthed in the mother's womb. Wow, we can talk about that later. But then there's he-motions. Even strong men struggle emotionally. They don't want to say that because most of the time culture connects emotions to women. Oh, you're so emotional. No, men have emotions too. And then there's the emotion code. And then finally, there is the Emotionally Healthy Woman. That is a book and a workbook that you can utilize for yourself. Thank you all so much. It's been a joy sharing this with you. Again, I'm doing the drive-by version and hope to be able to meet some of you along life's way.
Thank you again, Dr. Keely. And we're going to stop sharing your presentation. There we go. And we would like all of you to show your video. There we go. So we can see your faces.
Hey, oh my God, I see some people I know. Ooh, you know what? Had I saw those faces before, I'd probably be more nervous.
Would some more of you like to start your video? Go ahead and start your video.
Start your video. Let me see your faces. Hi, Lynette.
Okay, and I'm going to, we have some presentation questions, Dr. Keely.
Okay.
And one of them is, how difficult is it to develop social skills if you are not a natural?
And that is the misnomer. All of us can develop these skill sets, again, by deciding that this company of people no longer serve the direction that I'm going. And that can be real hard because some of these people we've grown up with, they've been in our lives for so long. But by putting yourself in an environment that will allow you, that's conducive for you to grow and reach the heights and depths that you are desiring.
Okay, let's see. Oh, here's a good one. I'm sure a lot of people have this question. How does one overcome nervousness when in a public professional setting, especially during a presentation or when several eyes are on you?
Okay, I had to emotionally get through that, because I'm like, everybody's staring at me, you know, and some people picking their teeth, doing all of this stuff. But what I decided to do, I'm gonna find something just above people's heads, and that's what I'm gonna focus on. I'm gonna emotionally know that you're here, because I can hear you and I can sense you, but I'm not gonna look at you. I'm gonna look just above your head. I don't wanna look like this, but just find something on a wall, somebody's big ponytail, a big weave, and find a spot there and just focus on that and do your thing.
Now, here's one from one of our parents. As a parent, what is the most important social skill one can help their child develop? And can you give an example of how? I know a lot of these parents are homeschooling their kids right now. So how can you help with the social skills?
Well, socially, when you say social, that is indicative of us being engaging with other people. But when I go back to the first part of your question, how can I help my child? Number one, encouraging them that you matter, you are important, you are here to be great in the earth. You have a contribution to society, to culture. You're a good friend. You are beautiful. You is kind. You is beautiful. You is smart. you got to be able to speak that language to them. And that's from that movie, but be able to do that to them. And I'm so glad that I can say just very honestly, I did that with my sons. They're not perfect, but if they know anything about us, that we believe they can do anything. They can be anything, and in being, we will love you. We will be by your side. We will support you. That there's nothing you can do to stop our love and our affection and our kindness toward you.
Thank you. Now, Dr. Keely, we have Lynette that has raised her hand. Would you like to ask a question online?
Actually, I would like to give a comment. Thank you just now for sharing that story about Jaira and Jonathan.
Yes.
You know from where I came.
Yes.
Like you knew from where I came before I got there. So I have, with Terrence and Taylor, been working so hard to break that cycle.
Yeah. I broke it, and you can too.
And honestly, like, I see a total 180 from the first, the second, you know. So I see a big difference in the way that they raised and I was raised. And just now with you saying that about Jonathan and Jaira, like, I just had to grab Terrence and Taylor and apologize to them, because I do raise my voice. And I told Terrence, I said, baby, I'm sorry. I apologize to you. And he's like, for what, mommy? And I said, you know, for raising my voice at you, for yelling. And he's like, but you didn't yell at me. And I said, but I have yelled at you. And I'm asking you to forgive me.
It's become commonplace.
Right.
When you are tearing that down, it's become a part of his emotional life. He's just used to it.
Right. And I can't have them like in that same boat that I can't have them on 8th Street. I'm just putting it out there, you know, and I even avoid 8th Street because I don't want them to hear certain things and see certain things and experience certain things when some of it is still happening on Belmead Court. Yeah. So thank you for that. Thank you for that eye opener. I needed that today. Aww. Thank you. And I love you so much.
I love you too.
Thank you, Lynette. Now, Dr. Keely, we have time for one more question. Okay. This one, what are the effects of not honoring our emotional health? What happens if we do not honor our emotional health?
Sickness, mental incapacity, and probably early death. We play with our emotions, but again, I mentioned earlier, when you don't manage your emotional life, because some people are just like this, they're on a roller coaster. You got to slow that roller coaster down, figure out why those emotions are there. Are they useful to the direction you want to go? Otherwise, you're going to be sick, really physically sick. You're going to be you're going to be depressed. This is how we open up to depression. I don't matter. I don't care. You'll become lifeless, listless, and potentially go to your grave sooner than you were supposed to.
Thank you, Dr. Keely. And thank you to everybody. I know there might be some more questions. We are going to be sending out a survey. And as always, our presentations will be on Facebook and on YouTube as well.
Hi, Jaira, my son.
So thank you all again for joining us, and have a wonderful evening.
Can I tell them to go and visit my website for more information? If any of you are interested, I'm going to be hosting a forum on emotional health and emotional intelligence in the months to come. And if you are interested in participating in that, again, what I gave you today was the drive-by version. So a lot, if there are things you're like, oh, I don't get it, or I wasn't feeling that, then that's where we do interactive and get you involved in building up your emotional life and really learning I don't know who I'm talking to, but somebody needs to learn the power of no, so that you can begin to get your emotional life in place and know that if I say no, if we really good, the no is good and it's not bad. But my website is KeelyPetty.com. There you will find biographical information. You'll find some of the areas that I focus on. You'll find out a lot more. I also have a YouTube channel, Dr. Keely Petty. You can go and visit there. My gift is the gift of gab. I love talking. I love empowering and encouraging. I know that is why I'm on the earth, and I would love to chaperone you all into a healthy emotional life so that you can reach every goal, dream, and desire of your heart.
Thank you. Thank you for sharing, Dr. Keely.
You're welcome.
Have a good evening, everybody, and see you at the next Red Talk.
Bye-bye. Thank
Bye-bye.
y'all.